Hey, everybody. You can help us make Chris DeMakes a podcast even better by telling us a little bit about yourself. Go to surveymonkey.com/r/JDZ3HL7 for a quick listener survey. It only takes a couple minutes and it helps support our team. To show our appreciation, we're giving away 2 $50 gift cards to lucky participants every single month. Head to, go ahead and grab a pen, surveymonkey.com/r/JDZ3HL7 now for your chance to win.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hey everybody, today's guest is Will Gold, vocalist and guitarist for the Brighton, England indie rock band Lovejoy. Together we tackle the writing, recording, and inspiration behind the fan-favorite single, Scoundrels, taken from their 2025 full-length debut album, One Simple Trick. I told Will that the first thing that jumped out to me here was that I was listening to a 4-piece band. A band that could jump on stage at the local club, plug in and play without the use of extra tracks or instrumentation. So it was interesting to hear him say that some reviews of the record felt the production to be a bit sparse. Well, if sounding like a real band is considered sparse, then sign me up. This song is great, and the production, led by Ali Chant, is perfect. This sounds immediate, real, and authentic, from the musicianship down to Will's vocal delivery. The arrangement is unorthodox, but as Will put it, we just do what feels good. Amen to that, my friend. So for all this and much more, don't touch that dial.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Chris DeMakes a podcast.
All right, I'm going to say this anyways, Will. We never like to, challenge anybody's illusion of time here on Chris DeMakes a podcast. If they're listening at 8 in the morning driving to work, and then we're talking at 8 in the morning, but we were joking. I said to you, what's a young guy like yourself doing on a Friday night at 7 p.m., because that's the time in the UK. It's 2 p.m. here on the East Coast. What are you doing home on a Friday night? And you're like, actually, I'm in New York.
Yeah, which is, I think I would still be at home at 7 p.m. on a Friday in England too. I'm not a big party animal, Chris. I'm sorry. I hope I don't disappoint you.
No, not at all. I didn't even mean it like that. It's just, you're younger, you're in a band. There's things to do. It's Friday night. Doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna go out and get drunk at the pub. No. But that surprised me. But you're in New York, so we're all good. I do want to ask you though, because you guys are from Brighton, over in the UK. I'm assuming you played the Concorde too.
Yes, we have a couple times.
Yes,
yeah, a few times actually. Yeah.
Okay, a very unassuming venue from the outside. You're like, is this even the place? And then you get in there and like people go mental.
Yeah. Well, when I was growing up, it was even more hidden. It was like because it had all the Victorian like facade under the boardwalk.
Right.
And it was even more hidden. Nowadays it's a bit more easy to see, but yeah, it is very hidden, isn't it? And it's very long. Very deep venue. It goes very far back.
It is. It holds like, I don't know, probably 900 people, but it's like super skinny and long, like you said. I've been to the beach across the street from that venue probably, I don't know, a half dozen times, and I've never, ever been able to take my jacket off. It's just windy and kind of treacherous out there.
Yeah, that's just Brighton in general, man. It's like we get the nicest summers in the world. Well, not in the world. We get the nicest summers in the country, and we just have to share it with the Londoners. And then when the rain comes, it's just we just have to endure Brighton's awful weather for months.
And by summer, of course, you mean like 52 degrees and blokes are out there with their shirts off on the beach.
Yes, exactly. And we only get 3 days of it too.
Yeah, and I'll translate to Celsius. That's like I don't know, 12 degrees, something like that. It's pretty chilly.
Yeah, I think so. Like maybe 17.
Maybe 17.
I don't know.
Okay,
I
who's
don't know.
counting?
I'm just good.
Lovejoy was formed in Brighton in 2021. Will, you are the vocalist and guitarist. Lead guitarist is Joe Goldsmith, drummer is Mark Boardman, and the bassist is Ash Kabosu.
Kabosu.
Yeah. Is he Japanese?
No. He just likes the word, and he's a very secretive man. We don't know much about him.
Okay. When you research you guys, you're listed as an indie rock band, and okay, I don't know if you necessarily picked that. We usually don't as bands, like journalists label us and whatever else. But there's elements of indie rock here, but I'm hearing what I would consider new wave, maybe Britpop, things like in the vocal delivery, like Bauhaus and some different stuff. So, were any of those influences? I'm hearing Duran Duran in here a little bit. Was that an influence?
Yeah, I think we take a lot of influence from British bands, obviously, as you would expect, being from Britain. But it's like, I think for this track. Yeah, it's a bit post-punky almost, right? I think
Yes, that's what I would call it, post-punk. And I just want to get this out of the way before we start combing through the song. Is there any synths on this? Or is this all guitar and effects?
No, a lot of synth.
There are synth. Okay, because I notice, you don't list anybody in the band with synths. I'm hearing synths here, okay? But I didn't know a lot of bands pride themselves on just wanting to have everything be natural through pedals, through whatever else. They don't want to have a keyboard player.
Yeah, well, that's me. I'm the keyboard player on the record, which is
okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm very much feeling my way through and googling what notes are in what key as I go along and stuff. I don't have any like formal training with it.
Yeah, I don't either. How many musicians do?
Oh, sure. And the ones who do, we hate them. I hate them. The ones that do.
Yes, we don't like them. Yeah, I got one in my band, my sax player. Yeah, we don't get along. No, I'm joking.
But we've always had kind of like a sort of tertiary melody, if you will, going through our music. And it used to be a trumpet. It used to be very trumpet focused. But we only have a couple songs with trumpet on this record. And Scoundrels, this song is purely synth doing that, sort of carrying that kind of secondary atmospheric noise underneath, I suppose. But,
yes.
Yeah, but it's quite interesting you mention it because the synths on this record are actually ripped straight from the demo. We didn't record them in our studio sessions.
Oh, cool. So, and the reason for that was it was the same tempo. They just, the parts were already there and it just worked. Why try to best it?
Yeah. I mean, so the synth that we'd written for the demo, I'd done over the span of like a 6-hour session in our rehearsal space at like midnight, and it was very much just like a labor that we got to it. And to do it again in the studio, I completely forgot what I did. I have no idea how I set it up or what settings I put. We had a little Yamaha synth. And I had no idea what I'd set it up to. So when we got to the studio, I was like, well, if we have 6 hours, I can do it again, or we can just copy paste it from the demo.
Well, it's kind of unfair. I just threw out a bunch of different, British bands and stuff that I thought you sounded like. But the reason I ask, I'm hearing a lot of stuff, but it's undeniably British. I can hear this kind of music done, and American bands have done it, and I hear them trying to almost fake a faux British accent with their delivery, and it just kills me every time. And you have to be British to do this delivery of this song, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of American bands doing the sort of British sound really well, I think of like the Strokes. I know maybe some would argue that isn't so much a British sound, but I think it's become quite a British sound. I think the Strokes influenced so many sort of British rock bands after they formed that it's almost like part and the parcel for the two, like they're
sure,
together.
Sure.
And I took a lot of Strokesy influence in the sort of vocal delivery here and trying to sort of that Julian Casablancas vibe and stuff.
I mean, there's been, people in the States that think, the Killers sound British, for instance. So, there is bleed over. I don't hear that at all. I'm sure you don't either. But it was just interesting when I was listening to this song. You guys are a relatively young band. You're younger, and to have this kind of sound here in 2026, it's super cool. I'm a sucker for this. I love Brit pop. I love Brit new wave. I'm even getting a little bit of early Generation X Billy Idol vibes with the vocal delivery. And I don't know if that's anywhere in your musical palette, but a lot of cool stuff going on here. And I want to go through a few more things before we jump into the song, Will. You guys released your debut EP, Are You All Right, in May of 2021. The second EP, Pebble Brain, I love that, in October of 2021. And your third EP, Wake Up and It's Over, in May of 2023. In November of 2022, you guys began to receive attention on mainstream radio with airtime on BBC Radio 1. You guys have played Glastonbury Festival, also performed at Rock Werchter Transmit, Montreux Jazz Festival, Osheaga, and Lollapalooza, and you played Reading and Leeds in August 2023. Your debut album, One Simple Trick, was released this past October of 2025, and we're going to talk about Scoundrels today, the 10th track out of 11 on the album. And I'm not familiar with it. Is it Ali Chant or Kant?
Ali
How do you
Chant.
pronounce?
Yeah, Ali Chant.
Ali Chant. Okay, I didn't want to say chant.
You can say Chant. Ali Chant.
No, I'm gonna Ali Chant. Ali Chant has also worked in different ways, from producer to mixer to engineer, with Fatboy Slim, Portishead, Cool Keith, PJ Harvey, Katie Tunstall. KT is a former Chris DeMakes podcast guest, Perfume Genius, and many more. How did the collaboration with Ali come about, and where was he in the process of the demo you said you were working on? Did he hear the demo before you started working with him?
Yeah, so we reached out to Ali actually after his work with a band called Sorry and a band called Yard Act, which we were really impressed with his mixing and his production there. So we reached out to him, and he was down. He was very keen. He took the train. He lives in Bristol. He works out there in Bristol, which is sort of like the other end of the coast for England. So he came all the way to Brighton to come sit with us. And he didn't just hear the demo. We played for him live. We sat him in a chair, and we got him in our rehearsal space. We sat him in a nice chair. He loves his little clipboard, and we sat and we played him through all the tracks. Yeah.
Nice. And when you guys play live, do you run extra tracks, synth tracks and such?
No.
Or do you? Nope, it's all live. And now that's the other reason I asked you at the top about the synths. Something about this band, when I listen to it, you guys sound organic. And what I mean by that is it sounds like a 4-piece band to me. Yeah, there's other instrumentation and whatnot, but I'm like, these guys could go plug in and play at the local pub. And a lot of bands can't do that. They rely on the click track. They rely on all the other stuff. And you guys are just like a band that can get up and jam.
Yeah, we do have a click track. That's the one thing we have going on. But there's no like recorded, like nothing's being played out the speakers. It's all us. Yeah, that's actually been almost a critique on this record I've heard is how sort of sparse it is. How it does just feel like 4 people. Our previous record was very much like I would use the word air conditioned. It was very much just like as much as we could do, big sounds, big, like never a dull moment, never a break. And for this record, we were like, let's space it out. Let's give some room for everything to sort of breathe. And I much prefer it. I much prefer that breathing room.
Yeah, no, I think this production sounds awesome. And did Ali mix it as well?
Yes, he did. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're going to get into the song. There's a lot going on here. It's 4 minutes and 28 seconds. We got a 20-bar intro. The first 4 bars are just kick drum, a dirty guitar playing a great riff. It's like the main riff of the song panned off right, and bass guitar panned off slight left just for these first 4 bars. On bar 5, it sounds like a spaceship is about to lift off. It's like delay, flanger, or chorus. It's panned off to the left. Is that a synth or is that pedal noise happening from the guitar that's about to come in?
I think that's Joe, and I'm not entirely sure I remember exactly what he did, but I would want to say it's a pick scrape all the way up the neck.
I didn't pick up on the pick slide, but it sounded like some kind of pedal noise. And this liftoff is another guitar that comes in, like I said, pan off left, playing a counter lead melody with bass, drums, and that guitar riff panned off to the right. And this is bars 5 through 12. On bars 13 through 20, things settle into the verse progression, where hi-hat and the overall intensity of the drums, as well as the bass, with the bass doing the same. It sounds like the bass tone even changed here in this section. Do you recall that?
I do.
Okay, prior it sounded bigger, and now it sounds smaller and a little tighter. That's really interesting in an intro situation when you're establishing a bass tone. Talk to me about that.
That bass line was the foundation of the whole song. I remember that was what Ash came to us with, the bassist. He came with that, and it's all played in a little pattern on the high 3 strings, I believe. And he came with that, and we were like, yeah, that's great. We love it immediately. And it was quite hard to move on from that, I found. We were kind of stuck with it. All the songs we were writing for it were very sort of mellow, because it's that sort of do-do-do-do-do-do-do. So we kind of had that groove going, but I couldn't find a kind of rhythm. And that guitar stab, so you were talking about that da-da-da-da-da, that's funny enough. I was very inspired by a ska punk band, which I know you're very familiar with ska punk. It was Thomas Kalnoky from Streetlight Manifesto.
Okay.
Yeah, he likes to play with those kind of rhythms, that kind of, you're playing a full bar chord and you're sort of hammering on those higher strings as you're doing it. I've always loved Streetlight Manifesto. I love their work.
That's interesting you say that, because later in the song we'll talk about, there's some interesting stabs on the guitar that happen that are kind of ska punkish, like Streetlight does a lot, where those stabs are. So that's cool that you give that as an influence. I think that's neat. Again, the hi-hat and overall intensity of the drums here in this section, it comes down with the bass, and you can really feel that, and it settles in to the verse. And it sounds like during this part, there's another bass guitar or baritone guitar playing sporadic stuff off to the right.
Yeah, I think that's me playing a palm muted power chord in the root of where Ash is kind of teasing, because the bass doesn't actually hit that root.
What is on that though? Do you have what are you running? Do you recall pedal wise? It sounds like a baritone or a bass guitar.
No, I think it was genuinely just a Strat being played with a bit of fuzz.
I love this intro because basically after the first 4 bars, it goes to the chorus progression and then it drops down to the verse progression. And, you know, a lot of this song is that A minor, F to D minor.
Yes.
It lives in that world, but I love what it does. And this is a ska punk trick, you know. Okay, the verse is here. Now it's going to be the same 3 chords for the pre-chorus. We're just going to speed them up.
Yeah.
It's great what you do here with the pre-chorus. And it reminded me of, it's a great song trick that I sometimes forget. And in fact, I probably haven't used it in a long time. So yeah, made me think about that. It's really cool.
All our friends have sponsors in the hope to attract a national brand. Sum your values up on a postcard. I belong words under stumps. I'm praying for
All our friends have sponsors in the hope to attract a national brand. Sum your values up on a postcard. Hide the long words under stamps.
So, yeah, though you may notice it's like I do a lot of, I just kind of repeat words and sort of stumble through the sentences there. That was inspired by Cage the Elephant. They have a song called Aberdeen. And I've always found the way that Matt Schultz, the vocalist, does this kind of like, he sounds kind of drunk as he's like sliding over the syllables and kind of weaving in and out of the words. I think that's so cool. And I was like, I would love to have a song where I'm kind of drunkenly staggering through.
But some things take a long time. A long time.
I was really, I don't know, I was kind of like massively inspired by that. I thought that was so cool. It sounded so suave and slick as he like moved through it, and yeah, that's why I have that kind of repeating. All our friends have sponsors and hide the long words.
That was a big thing early on with me. I would sing like I talked. That was important to me on a lot of the early stuff. That's how I would talk. All our friends have sponsors. You're elaborating on the last thing you said. I love that about this. I picked up on that immediately. I think that's super cool. And it also, I'm just going to ask you, I have no idea. Mid-20s, how old are you?
29.
29. Okay, so you're late 20s. You look younger. Hold on to that. But the reason I brought that up, I'm listening to this voice, and it sounds like this and I think some of it is the British accent, but it just sounds sophisticated when I listen to this.
At least someone thinks so.
No, it's awesome, man. It's super, super cool. I even wrote here, such a vibe in this verse. It's the same instrumentation carried over from the last 8 bars of the intro here in verse 1 again. But I love the vibe that's happening here. It feels like somebody's talking to me, and it's a singular vocal here. And I think that's the only time in the song that you have a singular vocal. I think the rest of them are doubled. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's doubled by Joe, the lead guitarist. He carries most of the like sort of higher melodies in the track. Yeah.
Right. And then there's obviously some harmonies and stuff we're going to talk about, but I think that is so cool that it's just one voice and it feels very personal, especially with your delivery of repeating words and whatnot. And then we get into pre-chorus 1. Pretty much the same progression, like I said, but it's sped up here. The chords are just going faster. And wow, what that does to this part because of the other instrumentation. It's so driving. We get double lead vocals here, and the drums and the bass are super driving, joined by a hypnotic arpeggiated guitar panned off left, bass guitar, and that other guitar panned off to the right is still playing sporadic things. The other guitar panned right from the top joins us here on the second half of pre-chorus 1.
Praying for wisdom, a better physician, or softly blaspheming in the brace position, and every professional checking the sensible, barely detectable flaw by a scoundrel's design.
Praying for wisdom, a better physician, while softly blaspheming in the brace position, and every professional checking the sensible, barely detectable, flawed by a scoundrel's design. And that's where we get the title of the song for the first time, Scoundrels, right there. What is going on here, Will?
Well, for this section, I kind of started wanting to follow the bass here, that kind of punchy bass line. I think I'm doing the exact same rhythm that the bass line's doing there, and I think it builds into the chorus pretty well. But lyrically, the song is about just the internet. I suppose it's about the internet. It's about social media, and God, it's a miserable little phrase. This one at the end of the verse, I think. But yeah, that's kind of most of the song. I think I like the concept of something being flawed by design. Something that's like designed to fail. I think of like light bulbs being like designed to break after a few years, so that you'll go out and buy more. It feels like the same thing happens with social media a lot, like doom scrolling. It's designed to keep you wanting to go, keeping you wanting to scroll. And I suppose a scoundrel in that sense is anyone who's feeding that machine actively.
It's like me feeding the Apple machine every time I need a new phone charger
or
connector.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They know they're going to break. They know you're going to buy another one. This part's awesome. I love the double vocals here. I love what that does. And again, how just driving this part is, just from the simple trick of speeding up the riff, but it's the intensity of the bass and the drums. It completely changes here from the verse. I think that's so cool. And then we get into chorus 1, which this again made me just go, what is going on here? Some cool songwriting and some cool things here that you typically wouldn't do in a pop or rock song. And basically, after design, distorted stereo guitars come in with bass and drums for 4 bars before the vocals kick in. Choruses don't let you go through 4 bars without the hook coming in, okay? That's a little odd just from looking at it from this way. But talk to me about that. Was that ever an issue with Ali? Did anybody talk about, hey, the vocals should come in right here? Why are we rocking out before the vocals start?
No, I'll be honest. It kind of we have sort of felt our way through this song a lot of the time, and that felt the most right, to give room to this. Now what was this sort of looping kind of like grooving pattern on the bass turns into these single single root notes. It felt like we needed to give that a bit of space to settle in the ear before the lyrics came in. But it doesn't feel that long, I don't think, when you're listening to it. I think it feels right. I hope.
Oh yeah, no, it isn't monotonous. It doesn't feel long in that sense. And the only reason it even stood out to me is because I'm looking at lyrics and I'm counting bars here for this show. So you don't do that when you listen to music typically. I don't. I drive down the road, listen to music and rock out and whatnot. But, looking at it from this way, I'm going, they wait before they start the lyrical hook and vocal hook of the chorus, which is, is super cool. But this part's a party when it comes on because those guitars are pretty fuzzy and it's rocking. The drums are wide open here in the chorus.
Yeah, we let Mark off the leash there. He was allowed to finally start hitting his crash after being held off for so long. I really like hearing the more sort of music theory dissection of it. I haven't heard this yet. I find it quite interesting. Thank you.
No, and sometimes I wonder if the guest is sitting here looking at me going, dude, how nerdy are you going to get on my song? How in depth are you going to go? And it's just fascinating to me. And this is cool how you have that setup. But for this type of song, this to me is a dance song still. You can dance to this, and that part kind of gets you moving.
But I tend to fall sometime. Though I'm tall, but I can't access heaven if I try. No, I won't get to heaven in this life.
And I fall. Oh, I tend to fall sometimes. Though I'm tall, but I can't access heaven if I try. No, I won't get to heaven in this life.
Dark.
Yeah, dark. We're going to hop into that. Something I wanted to bring up from the pre-chorus we haven't talked about yet, and we get another one in the chorus. When you say design, right after that, you do a vocal hiccup. You know what I'm talking about? Kind of go up high, like a swoop.
Oh, like a yes. Yes, I know exactly what you mean. Yes.
That's like a country rockabilly thing almost. It's cool. Like it's cool. It's different for this type of song. And talk to me about that. Do you just feel that when that comes out, or does Ali or a producer ever say to you, "Hey, we need more of that hiccup thing you do? Like get a little spicy here on this part."
It's the other way around. Actually, most of the band are asking me to stop doing that. It's almost.
Would you cut that thing out?
Yeah, they're like it. Just they. I almost thought of it like an ad lib, like in hip hop. Like you know how like rappers will have their own little like little noises they'll make. It almost feels like that to me. And I don't know how many times I've had to say, please, can I do the little slide? Can I do the little hiccup there?
I mean, everybody has their thing, like how many times has James from Metallica said, yeah, it's like in every song, so I think it's interesting where you put it here. It was right there. And then we get it again in the chorus after the line, but I can't access heaven if I try. You do it there. But it was interesting, the restraint here in the song. I'm like, why isn't that more? And it makes sense now because your bandmates are going, hey, pick your spots here. You only get a couple of those little swoops.
Yes. And also in this chorus as well, Joe is doing the backing vocals. He's kind of carrying this chorus. I'm almost talking for a lot of this chorus, I find, and Joe is the one with the power, like shouting the words behind.
I thought that was you singing with yourself. I had no idea.
It's just Joe.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Will Gold after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service. that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/DeMakes.
Tomorrow morning is knocking. Stock your fridge now. How about a creamy mocha frappuccino drink? Or a sweet vanilla? Smooth caramel maybe? Or a white chocolate mocha? Whichever you choose, delicious coffee awaits. Find Starbucks Frappuccino drinks wherever you buy your groceries.
This episode is brought to you by Welch's Fruit Snacks. Big news for your kids' lunchbox. Welch's Fruit Snacks are now made without any artificial dyes. A snack parents can feel good about, and the same delicious taste kids can't get enough of. All made with no artificial dyes. Try Welch's Fruit Snacks today.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
I get so many headaches every month.
It could be chronic migraine, 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine. It's not for those who have 14 or fewer headache days a month. Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor. Visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Zootopia 2 has come home to Disney+.
Let's go!
Get ready for a new case.
We're gonna crack this case and prove we're the greatest partners of all time!
New friends.
You are... Gary the Snake. And your last name? The Snake.
Dream Team. New habitats.
Zootopia has a secret reptile population.
You can watch the record-breaking phenomenon at home.
You're clearly working at
Zootopia 2, now available on Disney Plus, rated PG.
Hey friends, Chris DeMakes here. If you love Chris DeMakes a podcast and you'd like to help us continue bringing you great episodes each week, please take a minute to check out chrisdemakes.com. That's where you'll find our Patreon. Our Patreon supporters get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus episode that people have raved to us about for years. You can also get ad-free, early releases of each week's episode of Chris DeMakes a podcast, as well as unedited video versions of the show. Even if you're not sure if you want to sign up, you can go to chrisdemakes.com and sign up for a free account. We'll throw you a free preview episode here and there. We can't thank you enough for all the support. And if you have a few extra bucks and you want to help us keep the lights on, our Patreon is the way to do it. Head to ChrisDeMakes.com to learn more.
Comes the time that robs your only witness.
And now back to the show.
Out of chorus 1, we get into an 8-bar reintro with the drums playing a shuffle beat. Bass, the guitar panned off right is playing the main riff. And I'm hearing like a bee buzzing around, panned off left, that morphs into almost like spaceship noise before we get into verse 2. Mm-hmm. Are those synths, or is that the pedal noise and stuff I'm hearing there?
That's the demo synth I was talking about, the one that's going whoa,
that's
whoa,
the demo
whoa,
synth.
Whoa, yeah. I think I set it to like a really deep filter oscillation, and it's just dipping in and out, and it's like I'm just sliding the speed of that oscillation up as it goes in. I'm a huge fan of those kind of like warped, kind of like messy synth tones. Everything I've been writing recently has had that kind of almost agitated synth going on, which I'm a big fan of.
I've heard synths live at like festivals before where it's almost like it almost like hits you guttural. Like it just, they're powerful. You know what I'm talking about? Like that growly synth you're talking about. And this is so cool. And I hear it a lot from bands, especially now the past 25 years of being in the digital age, where like I couldn't best the demo. I couldn't sing that better. So we lifted my vocal, or we lifted this part. And in this case, you took the synths from the demo, and they work absolutely brilliantly here.
To lie awake and listen to repetition. In my dreams I'm chased, well, at least when I dream them. Now since my carbon emission zone, taken to this.
I could lie awake. Oh God, how I used to lie awake and listen to repetition. In my dreams I'm chased. Well, at least when I dream them, not since my carbon emissions. Oh,
I love repetition, dude. I'm I'm always scrolling, listening to the same music over and over again, and like eating a huge family-sized bag of crisps. It's just the most like easily comforting element of life. Repetition, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've almost kind of twisted it here into quite a melancholy way. Is that repetition is maybe not good for me, as eating a huge family-sized bag of crisps is not. And the dreams part, I don't know what it is, but like whenever I've had like nightmares, I'm always being chased by something. Like I think the monkey part of my brain is trying to prepare me for being hunted by a tiger or something. But but luckily, that's carbon emissions would be weed, would be cannabis, which obviously I wouldn't know anything about. I'm a very good boy, but like,
yes, okay.
It does an
Fair
excellent
enough.
job of deleting dreams if you smoke it enough. Also, I've heard.
Gotcha. Well, and I want to ask about these lyrics. They're a little what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, esoteric. They're I think they're great lyrics, but they make you think a little bit. Do your bandmates or Ali or anybody say, "Hey, this is a little too highbrow here, Will. We got to pull it back," or do they let you have free reign with your art and what you're trying to say?
Complete free reign. Yeah, I think the boys trust me at this point to say what I'm feeling and put it out, and they're always so encouraging of my writing.
Good. Yeah, it's a little bit of an unorthodox thing you have going with the repeating of words and your delivery and whatnot. And that, you could get somebody or a producer or someone that might look at that and go, "Hey, man, we should put this more into a little bit of a box." And it sounds like you got free reign, which is awesome. Verse 2, a lot of cool stuff that is happening in here. Double vocals happen on verse 2. And the vocals are way louder here. It's not even because there's another vocal. They're just way more, almost like you were setting the scene up in verse 1. And it was kind of personal. And now you're like shouting a little bit more. Is that kind of the vibe?
Yeah, for sure. It's we needed to elevate. I think at this point there's and lyrically that's where the direction is going. It's going to build into this more and more desperate kind of cloying feeling in the word choice, and I wanted to imitate that through the sound. There's a word for this. I forgot what it's called, where you imitate what you're saying through the music. But just the idea of like building up that into this more sort of louder and, like you said, doubling the vocals was important for us, and I think it comes through. I think you can feel it.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And here in verse 2, the overall, it's the same instrumentation as verse 1, but the drums play a different pattern on the hi-hat here, and the guitars are louder in verse 2, and like noticeably louder. And I think that's awesome, totally building here in the production. Then we get into pre-chorus 2, same overall instrumentation as pre-chorus 1, but we get different lyrics here. And the guitar panned off right is now playing sporadic staccato stabs throughout. And that's the streetlight thing I was referring to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and the strokes.
Again. Or maybe you were referring to.
I was streetlight, and also the strokes. It's a high triad on the guitar. I'm plucking through, and that's very strokesy, very streetlight, as you said. Yeah.
And now it's cool. And let's talk about these lyrics. A lot of times you want to have the pre-chorus be the same. And in this song, we only get 2 choruses, and then we end with what I'm calling the bridge. And we're going to get there in a little bit, but it's a very unorthodox arrangement you have in this song. So was that ever a discussion? And again, I know you have free reign, but does Ali or anybody ever say, hey, what about just keeping the pre-chorus from the first time here? Or is that never a question? You're going to do what you want, and these lyrics were always different.
Yeah, I mean, we discussed the structure a lot when we were writing and recording it, but the structure was always discussed from more of a what feels right for what we're making, as opposed to what would maybe be commercially viable, or what would be the standard, the what people usually do. It was more how would this structure encapsulate the message we're trying to say in the lyrics, I suppose. And for us, this song, it feels like it's pent up. It feels like it needs to burst, and that's kind of what that bridge section at the end you're talking about. That's what that's doing.
Taken to listless, up in precondition, to misdiagnosing myself to remission. We hunt down this villain, condemned to perdition, worn down by attrition and flawed by a scoundrel's design.
I've taken to listless, I've been preconditioned, to misdiagnosing myself to remission. That's a funny line. We hunt down the villain, condemned to perdition, worn down by attrition, and flawed by a scoundrel's design. So we do get that last flawed by a scoundrel's design there in pre-chorus 2, but I didn't look up the word. I pride myself on loving the English language. I don't know what perdition means. Please educate me.
It's like a never-ending punishment. It's a Christian thing. It's from Christianity.
Perdition.
It's like hell. It's like never-ending punishment, never-ending like torment.
How is there not a death metal band named Perdition?
I don't know. There should be. I actually got the word from World of Warcraft, the video game. I'm a big World of Warcraft player, and one of the daggers in the game is called Perdition's Blade.
This is all making sense now, Will. The weed, being home at 7 p.m. on a Friday night, the video games.
Am I that easy to read?
Oh yeah. I just it all just became obvious. The light just went on here. After pre-chorus 2, we get into chorus 2, and I swear here you don't start out with and. I think you say but I fail this time. Is that right?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you that was very intentional and very wise. But
all the lyric videos, all the lyric sites say and, but I swear you start this one off by saying but. And of course, the fourth line in the chorus, but I can't access heaven if I try. So you do have buts in there. But anyhow, I swear it starts off. It's the same instrumentation as chorus 1 here, but the lead guitar panned off left is bigger and louder. It's just way fuller here than chorus 1. Same overall harmony vocal placement as well. And then on the last line, the guitar panned off left, we get some feedback that rings out over the next instrumental interlude, I'm calling it. That, at first this part was like, oh, this is the bridge, and we're going to get to the chorus at the end. doesn't happen that way. And what's interesting here is in this 28 bars, and I'll talk about that in a second, it's not until the very end of it that you sneak in that E minor on the last couple bars, and then that changes the progression for the very end. And just that slight difference adds some tension here. Very, very cool. And I'm assuming that was designed that way, or did you have that other chord in there all along?
Oh, very much so. We always knew I think it's, sorry, I'm trying to remember what part we're on here. I think it's an E major it goes to.
Oh, it isn't. No, it is an E major. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. It's okay. That E major is I mean, that's the third, I think, in the key of C. I think the song's in A minor, but the kind of outro, I wrote it very much in the idea that this was now a C major section at the end, which the third. Yeah, the third is my favorite in that progression. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about here. I'm just.
Yeah, I love when it goes to that C there too. It's awesome. It jumps from the E to the F to the C. It's great.
Yeah, and that I always think of it as like a headache clearing moment. I love those kind of moments, and indie rock loves to do those kind of where you've got this same, like you said, repeating pattern the whole song, and then finally it crescendos with this like, oh, that's the chord that we've been teased the whole time. That's what we've been building up to. And I love that. I'm addicted. I think the Arctic Monkeys' View from the Afternoon, the opening track off their debut album, that does that expertly. That chorus has that massive headache clearing moment where you finally hear the chords that they've been teasing the whole time. I love it, and I love my theatrics, and that's kind of what this ending section's all about.
Yeah, you're sitting there in the movie and you're waiting for it, and here it comes. Yeah. Now we're at the now I'm feeling it now. That's awesome.
I tend to fall sometimes. Though I'm tall, but I can access heaven if I try. No, I won't get to heaven in this life.
Well, this section, again, is 28 bars. I'm calling it an instrumental interlude. The first 8 bars are the drums playing a shuffle beat. The bass and the guitar panned off left is playing that arpeggiated riff and what sounds like a swirling synth or delay pedal noise that's happening in that section. There are also voices talking, panned off right, that are having a conversation that are barely audible. Bars 9 through 20, that guitar riff panned off right comes back in, along with an even louder synth that gets more intense as this whole section builds. Bars 20 through 28, the guitars go to stereo with big crashing drums, bass, and that lead guitar panned off left, along with vocals doing whoa-ohs, panned left and right. And right before the vocals drop in for the bridge tag of the song here, I hear a distant voice panned off left saying like, oh, 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 oh. It's just one voice that comes in there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. That was me screaming, actually. It's been mixed in such a way where it's a bit more palatable, but I think that was a room mic. That was a room mic and me at very late at night in the studio just screaming from one side of the studio into the room mic.
Now, this part is cool. This part reminded me of the vocals when they come in. They don't super like overtake the production, but they just give you this feeling like something's going to come, and something does come. We're going to get into this last part, which I'm calling this the bridge outro tag. It's a bridge outro. Was there ever a discussion of coming back to what I'm calling the chorus, or no?
No, we were very sure that we'd said what we wanted to say with that verse, chorus. It was like we knew how. Well, I at least knew what words I wanted to use going into this already, and how I wanted to tell the story of this song. And it was like once we got to that second chorus, the thought was, well, where do we go from here? And I thought, well, a giant theatrical ending is what this sounds like it's hungry for.
This whole part becomes personal again. Just the way your delivery is, the way you're repeating words. There's no more harmonies. And I picked up on that. And so the song kind of arced for me. You know, it comes in with this very personal single vocal, and then it takes you on a ride to the song, and then it brings it back down, but not in a way that's melancholy or brings you down like, oh man, the song kind of ended on a dud for me. It's awesome.
So what's it even mean to be accepted by the scene and judging worth in magazines and end your life to get to me? But I could see the words enough for all these fucking dreams, and we're so hounded by a cure that's for a separated seams. He lets us sparkler breaks it down to not the threat. He stays inside. There's no more meaning to the highs. There's only viewing platforms now to watch it burn. I'm not sure if it's purpose anymore, but I know this despite my wish. Scoundrels are
So what's it even mean to be accepted by the scene and judge your worth in magazines, then lend your life to ketamine? You know that. I could see the woods if not for all these fucking trees, and we're so hounded by a cure that's for a separate disease. He lights the sparkler, prays it dies. Another threat, he stays inside. There's no more meaning to the highs. There's only viewing platforms built to watch it burn. I'm not sure of its purpose anymore, but I know this, despite my wish, a scoundrel's all I'll ever. And you don't give the listener another morsel of lyrical information. You let them chew on that. I love it.
That's almost an inside joke with me, because the band is named after one of my best friends in the whole world, Benedict Lovejoy, who used to sit with us when we were writing all our first tracks. And one of the things he said to me was he hates songs that end before the final word. He hates songs that like cut the final word off. So from then I've always tried to like sneak them in. The last word unsung is supposed to be no. I don't know of its purpose anymore, but I know this despite my wish. A scoundrel's all I'll ever know.
Wow. And, you know, when I first read these lyrics, and I was printing them out and I'm looking at them, before I even touched play on the song, I went, wow, you know, indie rock, what's this going to sound like? Because these kind of like something almost in the punk world. I could see like a punk band singing these lyrics, you know, they're kind of angsty and they make you think. So I wouldn't think that that's too far outside of the box. In this bridge at the end, pretty much everything's here. All the guitar nuances, things are coming in and out. The drums are super loud on the crash here the whole time, just rocking away with the intensity on the very last line. But I know this, despite my wish, a scoundrel's all I'll ever. On that ever, you hear a single kick drum, you get some reverb, you get some guitar panned off left, and some what I'm calling space noise panned off left and right, and it kind of dissolves, and that's the end of the song. What did you think when you heard the first mix back from this? Were you stoked?
Oh yeah, I was so excited. I remember Scoundrels was one that almost fell together. It almost like came together so well in the studio. We didn't have to like wrangle as much as we usually do with our ideas and our disagreements. We like to argue in the studio. I think it's very healthy to argue as much as we can in a band. And we would argue over stuff all the time. But Scoundrels was one that just came with no arguments. We all agreed. Yeah, nailed. And then it just was loads of fine tuning, tweaking, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, I love your band. I want to dig into some more songs. I could pick up on the fact that this is a 4-piece band. I know there's other stuff happening, but you guys are a rock band, like I said, that could go plug in at the local pub and play, and I totally respect that. Before we break, what's going on with Lovejoy? What do you got coming up?
Oh, so this spring we've got an EP coming out later this spring. That's going to have 4 tracks that didn't make it onto this record, One Simple Trick. One of which is actually one of my favorites from this album that was cut, called "Curse These Metal Hands." It's one of my personal favorites that we've ever written, but it didn't make it onto the final record. So I'm stoked to finally have people being able to hear that song. We also have a couple more about on the same kind of like world, but more than anything, we're pushing into our next album, honestly. I don't know, what do you call it in America? Sophomore album is the second one?
Sophomore record? Yeah, your sophomore album. And will you be working with Ali again, or are you looking elsewhere? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I'd love to work with Ali again. He was absolutely spectacular, but I think we'll be trying out different people as well, because I don't know, we want to keep pushing into like different areas. I mean, we want this one to be a concept album. The next thing we're working on, more of like a rock opera, if you will.
Okay.
And so I think with the territory of taking such a weird leap away from our usual work, it might be interesting to also take a leap sonically. But Ali, I'd love to have him like helping out as well, and then maybe we'll go back to him again because he was absolutely brilliant.
Well, it's been over 50 years since The Who's Tommy, the concept album, came out. I think it's time for Lovejoy's next record to be the best concept album of all time. And I'm looking forward to hearing it. And Will, thanks so much for sitting in with us today.
Thank you, Chris. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Will Gold. I can't wait to talk to Chris about it in the rap segment. We also got the band you might not know coming right up after a few words from our sponsors, so don't go anywhere.
K-pop Demon Hunters, Haja Boys breakfast meal and Huntrix meal have just dropped at McDonald's. They're calling this a battle for the fans. What do you say to that, Rumi?
It's not a battle. So glad the Saja Boys could take breakfast and give our meal the rest of the day.
It is an honor to share.
No, it's our honor.
It is our larger honor.
No, really. Stop.
You can really feel the respect in this battle. Pick a meal to pick a side.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. At participating McDonald's while supplies last.
You tell yourself, no one wants your college-era band tees. But on Depop, people are searching for exactly what you've got. You once paid a small fortune for them at merch stands. Now, a teenager who calls them vintage will offer that same small fortune back. Sell them easily on Depop. Just snap a few photos and we'll take care of the rest. Who knew your questionable music taste would be a money-making machine? Your style can make you cash. Start selling on Depop, where taste recognizes taste.
Springfest is heating up at Lowe's, and for a limited time, we have the extra big deals you need to impress guests. Get your outdoor space ready and save $50 on a select Cobalt 24-volt blower kit, now $79. Plus, save $80 on the Charbroil Performance 4-burner grill, now $199. It's springtime, and our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/13, while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Everyone knows that unexplainable it factor, that smile that lights up a room, that wow. Well, it doesn't happen by itself. There's chemistry behind the charisma. Colgate Optic White Pro Series toothpaste removes 15 years of deep-set stains when you brush twice daily for 2 weeks. How? The clinically proven formula is powered by Colgate's hydrogen peroxide complex. It works at the molecular level to gently dissolve stains deep within the enamel where your brush can't reach. It's proof that daily routine can be remarkable. That's the science of wow. Colgate Optic White.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 years?
That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Do you like music, learning about good music, and laughing at bad music? Well, I have the show for you. I'm Chris DeMakes, podcast producer Chris Fafalius, and my One Hit Thunder co-host Matt Kelly and I are 300-plus episodes deep into revisiting one-hit wonders to decide if they deserve a second listen or should stay safely buried in your memory. We give every artist a fair shot, roast them when necessary, and when a band or artist is actually really good, we officially certify them Thunder, and maybe someday we'll even get around to sending out those notarized certificates. Basically, it's an incredibly fun music podcast, so smash that subscribe button on One Hit Thunder wherever you get your pods.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Chris DeMakes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is Hooray for Dad, a punk rock band for dads. They write songs that capture the experience of being a dad with a sound influenced by 90s punk rock and Ramones core. Hooray for Dad is for any parent who grew up listening to the same music and is now going through parenthood. Here's a snippet of their song, I Can't Go.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
Chris, I always get excited when I hear about a ska punk influence from a band that I think would never in a million years be ska punk influenced.
Yeah, that was a little surprising to me as well. Although when he mentioned the part, I could kind of hear it.
I mean, come on now. We all love ska punk music. In fact, you know, I've told you for years that I've wanted to get Matty Healy from the 1975 on because he has said in interviews, and like I've seen him wearing t-shirts as a kid of Less Than Jake Losing Streak and stuff, how Less Than Jake was such a big influence. So, you know, the world of music that you come from does influence lots of cool indie rock music. And I think that's a really cool thing. Also, I thought that the subject matter of this song was pretty relevant to right now. I don't know if you know about this, but did you know about the huge lawsuits against the social media companies going on right now?
Yeah.
The huge lawsuits are about, like, you know, younger people using them, and it's like infinite scrolling and just the effect that it's had on the mental health of people. I've heard it referred to as like social media's cigarettes moment, like when there were all the lawsuits came out against the tobacco companies. So I just thought that was really cool. I didn't know that that's what this song was about, but then it was really cool to hear him talk about that.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I mean, I just staring at the lyrics, I'm like, oh, these could be, you could put a punk rock song to this. It's they're kind of edgy, and I just love the delivery. I'll say it again. I can hear a fake British accent or when something's not authentic, when you're trying to sound like that retro type style. And, you know, sometimes it's fun and sometimes it kind of works. But man, when he starts singing in verse 1, and I love that it's a singular vocal only in verse 1 and the rest of the song's doubled. I haven't really come across that. I think that's really cool.
He said that a critique that they got of the album was that it was so sparse. But I think a lot of the best recordings are just that. I think it's easy, you know as well as I do, Chris, and I've definitely done it a lot over the years, but it's so easy to just keep stacking track over track over track in a recording session. But if you can keep it to what the band is, sometimes those recordings sound way bigger than something that has 100 tracks on it. If you think about like Rage Against the Machine recordings or Red Hot Chili Peppers, I hear as a good example, where you hear drums, a bass, a guitar, a vocal, and it sounds huge. I just think having that sort of restraint is a very mature way of songwriting and recording.
Yeah, no, I said to Will, one of the first things, I hear a 4-piece band,
right?
And he said, oh, we don't run tracks, but we do play to a click. And I'm like, I didn't say this to him, but yeah, you could still go up to the town pub and play without the click. You're a rock band. And man, there's just some bands that can't go play without their tracks are part of their show. And that's another conversation. It's here nor there. But in terms of this band, man, I just like, this is a 4-piece band. It comes across. I like what people are calling sparse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just such a cool recording because it sounds so real. This is something, it's totally up my alley. This came across our desk. I think that I have heard Lovejoy before, but it was because of this episode that I dove into them further, and now I'm a fan. This is exactly something I would like. This is right up my alley.
Yeah, I want to check out more of their stuff. As I said near the end of the episode with Will, I think their sound is super, super cool. And, they're only 5 years old, the band. And it's, I don't know, maybe it's that I mentioned earlier, it's that British thing. It just sounds like just such a more mature recording than the band that's only 5 years, been around for 5 years.
And also talking to Will, and I found this to be anytime you have someone English on the show, but just everyone always sounds so eloquent in the way they speak about music and just the way they speak in general. I think it just might be something being English as a American, not only as an American here, Chris, but as a Pittsburgher from America. I wonder I must sound insane to a person from England. I would think anyway, or a lot of the ways we speak here.
Absolutely. And I get called out on it still.
I feel like you're pretty accentless. I
it's
pick up on something.
It's Midwest, the Michigan thing comes out, sometimes.
Okay.
I don't say like dad and pop and, I don't go that overboard, but there are things. My kids make fun of me for certain things I say.
I say pop.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah.
But regardless, yeah. Every English guest we have on here always sounds so cool, I think. I mean, I guess that's not very Will specific. I thought he was a great guest, but I just always noticed that, just the turn of phrase and just like the cool things that they say. And I also, dude, I thought it was so funny when at first you thought that he was over in England, but he's actually in New York. And you were saying like, what are you doing? It's Friday night at 7:00. And he's like, well, I probably wouldn't be out anyway. And then as the episode went on, he's like, well, I got this term, perdition, from playing World of Warcraft. And you're like, oh, so you probably would be at home at Friday night at 7:00. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, well, that, and he gave kind of gave the nod to smoking as well. So that all kind of came into play there. But I love this band. I think they're absolutely great. And let's give a tip of the hat to Ali Chant, the producer. Very, very, very good tones. And as you said, just a lively, great recording. And I'm sure, Chris, you have a glowing 5-star review for us today. And before we get to that, head over to ChrisDeMakes.com. That is where our Patreon is at. And you can sign up for bonus episodes of the After Party each week. Do we have a good handle this week, Chris?
Yeah, so we got a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts this week from Mizika, Mizzicah. Mizika.
I like it.
Gave us 5 stars and said, great breakdown of songs we all love. They wrote, just finished the episode with Dan Pothast. As a guy who has played with both these guys, it was great to hear the breakdown of music. Such a deep dive into music we all love. It is nice to hear Chris speak so in depth about songs he/we all fell in love with. Great show. So I wonder who Mizika is. It's somebody that's played with your band at some point.
Yeah, it sounds Japanese. Maybe it's somebody from Japan, or maybe it's just a handle. I don't know.
Mizika, yeah, I'm not sure. And that's a reference to Dan Pothast of MU330. So that's an episode from a while back. That's an episode from like 3 or 4 years ago. But hey, man, these episodes are evergreen. You can listen to them 10 years from now, and it's still going to be the story about the song. That story about the song isn't going to change. So that's what I like about our show, Chris. I feel like we're really creating a historical record here.
That's right. And once again, head over to ChrisDeMakes.com and help us keep the lights on here at Chris DeMakes a Podcast. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in each week to listen. And I want to thank this week's guest, Will Gold from Lovejoy. And we'll see you next week. Hey, friends. Have you been loving Chris DeMakes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.
The right window treatments change everything. Your sleep, your privacy, the way every room looks and feels. At Blinds.com, we've spent 30 years making it surprisingly simple to get exactly what your home needs. We've covered over 25 million windows and have 50,000 5-star reviews to prove we deliver. Whether you DIY it or want a pro to handle everything from measure to install, we have you covered. Real design professionals, free samples, zero pressure. Right now, get up to 40% off site-wide, plus get a free professional measure at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions apply.
I'm Bruce Martin, host of Pit Pass Indy. Each week, I go behind the scenes of the NTT IndyCar Series and introduce our listeners to the biggest stars of IndyCar, which features the Indianapolis 500 as its cornerstone event. The men and women that compete in IndyCar may be the bravest athletes in all of sport, as danger lurks around every corner. They are able to look danger in the eye without flinching. That is why the NTT IndyCar Series features the best racing on the planet. Join me every week as we talk to the stars of IndyCar, including the legends of the Indianapolis 500 on Pit Pass Indy from Evergreen Podcast.